He has no technical issues. So later on for race number 4, he will be back. Engines are running. Everyone can't wait to start finally this race again. And it's only a little rain. So we really, really hope it's 5 laps for now that we will manage to finish 5 laps, because everyone needs the points, everyone needs results. There are very, very close fights, specifically in the Chrome class, about classement. So I know someone like Mark Taylor and Bradley Smith, they really want their points, but everyone else of course as well. Norbert Kisch did a really good job driving in front beforehand when it was super wet on track, followed by Jochen Hahn. We have 2 very quick guys in the front from Chrome class, Clemens Hecker and Steffen Faas, who finally has a truck that's running very well and very fast. So I think this might be quite an exciting race once we start to get going. Chas Draycott is back in the house as well, our man from the UK, as well as Joachim Eberts for the German audience and Fonsi for the Spanish guys. So quick hello and see you in a second.
Thank you, Lena, and hello again, everybody. Chas Draycott here for the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And as you have seen, we have unfortunately had to push things back due to the conditions that we saw earlier. I'm happy to say that we've ended up being entertained by the Twingos that have been racing here this weekend that have been joining us. They are basically just part of the Slovakian Twingo Racing Championship. We have Clio Cup here this weekend, as well as TCR Endurance and FIA CEZ Endurance. Sorry. This weekend itself is proving to be quite the bit of endurance as well. We are going to try and get race 3 and get things cracking as soon as we can. And basically, this is, I believe there may be a little bit of confusion around which stream has gone live when, but this is race 3, regardless of what you may see on your screens. This is race 4. There we go. Chas has really put himself in it now. This is race 3, not race 4. There we go, I've said it. We're running on 100% renewable HVO diesel, I can tell you that much, as we look at Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in the number 38 machine. We've shortened the start procedure to try and get things done as quickly as possible. And we have an updated grid that basically does not include Sasha Lenz. It'll be Norbert Kisch on pole position, Jochen Hahn alongside him. Row 2 will be Clemens Hecker and Steffen Faas. 2 Chrome drivers on the second row. How cool is that? Antonio Albacete 5th, Bradley Smith 6th, Rene Reiner in 7th. Let's go to Lena quickly.
Engines are getting started, excitement is rising, so let's hope for a really, really good race. I'm gonna get off track now, but Chas will be with you, of course. Fingers crossed this is gonna be a good one.
Yes, indeed. We are now just getting prepared to get moving. And we will see what the score is right now. And I believe, we have the stream's live on race 4 on YouTube right now, those of you watching us, but this is race 3. Let me just reiterate that. We postponed it earlier due to very difficult conditions, and now we are back on track and ready to go for the 3rd race of the weekend. As you can see, all rain lights on the trucks, blinking at different speeds. They've all got their own interesting little patterns, which is funny to see. But right now, we have the Ford F-Max on the circuit. The Ford F-Max is the official truck of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. But this one is different. You won't have seen this one before on our streams, as it completes its inspection lap with May Fisher at the wheel. This is, I will tell you, the Ford F-Max 500 Custom. This is a Ford F-Max similar to the one we usually use, but it's got a newly designed cabin, just one seat. It's the driver's seat, not just the passenger seat. It includes a small, compact kitchen area behind the driver's seat. It's complete with a microwave. There's even a slide-out sink. There's lots of storage, slide-out tables. There's the usual bed in the cabin as well, which is an L shape that goes all the way around. And it's been designed with the solo driver in mind. At the end of the day, a lot of truck cabs at present are not utilizing all the space. This makes use of that large space that is often occupied by a widely unused passenger seat. So instead of having just the passenger seat in there, it's a full cabin. We're going to go back down onto the grid, though, and I believe Lena is catching up with Sasha Lenz.
Yeah, I really wished for you to be back on track. Obviously, it didn't happen. How are you feeling right now?
Ja, wie soll ich mich fühlen? Eigentlich ganz gut. Also wir haben das Lachen trotzdem nicht verloren. Wir wissen mittlerweile, dass das Auto schnell ist. Habe eben einen kleinen Fehler gemacht, bin abgeflogen. Kam die rote Flagge. Und dadurch, dass ich selber nicht aus dem Kiesbett rausgekommen bin, ich wurde ja rausgeschoben quasi, darf ich jetzt nicht wieder starten.
Yeah, he made a little mistake. He went off track as he has been pulled out and wasn't able to go back on track by himself. He's not allowed to restart now. Later on in the next race we will see, of course, but he really likes how his trucks works now. So I think we will see a fast lap later on.
Ja, for sure. Natürlich muss ich nachher von hinten starten, ganz klar. Aber ist immer noch ein Rennen und im Rennen kann viel passieren und das ist eigentlich meine Hoffnung, die ich habe.
Yeah, a lot can happen in the races. That's the hope he's having. He will start at the end of race number 4, but let's go for race number 3 to finally being finished now in the last 5 laps to come now. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Lena. Great to hear from Sasha, and a real shame that he will not be able to compete in the rest of this one. But it is part of the regulations, unfortunately, as Sasha had caused the red flag and was helped back onto the circuit after the first lap of the race. He will not be allowed to basically continue on. If it was lap 1, like we saw yesterday when John Newell was off the circuit due to a red flag, he would be able basically to continue, but that's not the case now, I'm afraid. And we prepare now, 30-second board in the air, everybody hoping to get going ASAP. And we will see what the score is here. But we're certainly excited to at least get this race underway. Like we say, it is going to be wet conditions, a very different race. And Norbert Kish will lead us away behind the Iveco SE-Way. And this fully electric pace truck is sent to us via Iveco, and we're very grateful to have them on board as a championship partner. They're a global leader in the sector and certainly do a great job of showing us the amazing technology they have with these fantastic pace trucks. This one and the bio-LNG powered machine as well. It's great to have it as part of the series, and this wonderful clean white design as well certainly looks the part. You can see still a lot of spray being kicked up, but the circuit nowhere near as wet as it was earlier on. The tyres themselves from Goodyear do have the capability to race very well in dry and wet conditions, but unfortunately it was deemed unsafe with the amount of standing water that we had earlier on the circuit, so we restart now with this new grid. As you can see, it's very, very wet though, and, well, hopefully the rain, even though it's still coming down, will not cause things to be any worse. Norbert Kish alongside Jochen Hahn on the front row of the grid. Row 2 is now made up of Clemens Hecker and Stefan Faas. The two of them have been working very closely together in seasons gone by, and these guys will be certainly happy to have a chrome fight from the second row. Antonio Albacete lines up alongside Bradley Smith in truck number 11. And then behind them on the next row of the grid, we have René Reinert and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Steffi Helm is next up alongside Louis Riquenco. The two of them just inside the top 10. And then it's John Newell and Mark Taylor, two drivers that have raced for a while in the British Championship, now stepped up to the European Series. With Luke Garrett in there as well. Similar story for Luke, being previously Division 2 champion of the British Championships. And Christian Ruppert making his debut this season in truck racing and having a good old time of it as well. He's certainly enjoying himself. He's enjoying the learning experience and the unique form of racing that truck racing is. So just an update for you all then. Apologies if I was a little bit sort of stuttery a moment ago. We're just going over all of the processes and things that are happening here as well. Alice is still feeding us a lot of information. We are having the 5 laps that we had remaining as the whole race distance here. So they will just do 5 laps from this order. It will not be an 8-lap race. It will be a shorter encounter in the hope of sticking to the timetable as best we can, or at least moving things along. And we will hope to have race 4 with us a little bit later on. We still don't have any information as to when race 4 may be, or what the schedule looks like at this present moment. But obviously, keep your eye on the social media channels and everything for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and we will give you all the information that we can. There's a lot of it being shared in and out of all of the different group chats and things that we have that keeps it all running smoothly over the weekend. And we appreciate your patience as well, everybody, as fans of the championship. We really appreciate you all sticking with us throughout all of this. As you see now, a little bit of weaving here and there just to get an idea of the grip. And we now wait to see the electric pace truck, the wonderful Iveco SE-Way, peel into the pit lane and get us underway. No confirmation of a yellow flag start or anything at the moment. Earlier on in the race, we had yellow flags, a full course yellow around the circuit, which meant there was no overtaking for the first lap, and then they were unleashed. And now the Iveco makes its way in. Norbert Kish all the way over to the right. Jochen Hahn all the way over to the left. Keeping an eye out on some of the flag boards to see what the situation is. And we are underway at pace. There's green flags, but you can see in the background yellow light boards around the edge of the circuit, which will imply, I believe, a yellow flag procedure. Yes, full course yellow for this first lap by the look of it. We'll keep our eye out and see when we go green. But the important thing is we're back underway here at the Slovakia ring in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Very wet and tricky conditions, but better than before, I think is the way to put it. Still a lot of spray being kicked up by the lead machines, and it's Norbert Kish from Jochen Hahn, Clemens Hecker, Stefan Faas, Antonio Albacete and Bradley Smith, the top 6 drivers at the present moment. Norbert Kish now moving down into turn 3. One of the most treacherous corners on the circuit, even in the dry as well. It's a heavy braking zone just as you come downhill. The trucks really do move around in there. Back axle trying to overtake the front. And as they head through turns 4, 5 and 6, they get to some of the twistiest parts of the track. Long right-hander here. Stefan Faas there, just behind Clemens Hecker, trying to follow on as closely as he can for when we go green. They're battling for the lead in the Chrome class, let's not forget. And a potential overall podium as well, which would be really cool to see for one of the Chrome drivers. But Norbert Kish once again commanding at the front, as we so often see him do. Going this way and that way through turn 10 and 11 and then through the left-hander at turn 12. You can see the rear axle moving around so much on these trucks as it tries to put down over 1,000 horsepower and in some cases more than 5,500 Newton meters of torque. Incredible power and torque figures from these trucks. But at the moment, it's the top two breaking away, while the two chrome leaders of Clemens Hecker and Stefan Faas are right together on track. And as Norbert Kish crosses the line, we go green. Yellow flag is retracted, and the racing gets underway at full pelt now. So, 1 lap completed. It's effectively a 4-lap sprint to the end now. And as you see there on the board, 4 laps to go. Norbert Kish leads us in the MAN with the Iveco of Jochen Hahn just behind. Then it's Clemens Hecker and Stefan Faas. They're the top 2 in the Chrome class. Antonio Albacetti in 5th place at the moment, 3rd in class. Bradley Smith next up, followed by René Reiner. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, then Steffi Halm, Louis Requenco completing the top 10. Then it's John Newell, Mark Taylor, Luke Garrett and Christian Ruppert. They're all tiptoeing their way around now, trying to keep it as clean and safe as they possibly can. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez having to defend from Steffi Halm now as they power their way through turn 2, powered by 100% renewable HVO diesel as well. So you won't see any big black clouds or any horrible truck emissions that people seem to think that there still is in the world of truck racing. If there are any emissions that don't visually stick to the sustainability measures that the championship takes, or don't really stick with the ethos, then they are given a black and orange flag and has to come into the pit lane to sort it out. And if not, if it's not something that can be done by, maybe changing something with the ECU, maybe it's not a physical part failure, then they will be removed from the race. Something that the teams and drivers stick to as entry to the championship. And right now, it's looking like Stefan Faas is putting Clemens Hecker under a lot of pressure. Clemens got a win in the class earlier on this season at the Lausitz Ring at the previous race meeting. Sorry, at Misano it was that he got that win, actually. Wow, it feels like much more recent than that. But it was the 4th race at Misano where Clemens Hecker got a class victory ahead of John Newell and Jonathan Andre. But Stefan Faas, he is trying hard here to go chasing these guys. He likes racing in the wet, does Stefan. And it's certainly showing right now. He's got great confidence in this machine. And you can see those little LED strips in the windscreen, very, very bright on these machines. They do enough to illuminate the track in places, and it's more for positional awareness of the trucks behind them as well in the mirrors. Stefan Faas, one of the only trucks in the field that uses camera mirrors as opposed to the physical glass mirror. But a great fight on for 3rd position here. Look at the standing water on the circuit though. And at the moment, it's Stefan Faas really looking racy. And we're on lap 3 out of 5 at this present moment. As we've said, shorter race as we completed some of the laps earlier on, and for the sake of the timetable, it's a much more compressed schedule in this race. We see there René Reiner just in front of Steffi Halm, just behind Bradley Smith. Bradley on for a podium. Bradley will be happy to have scored multiple points more than Mark Taylor over the course of this weekend as well. That's the championship fight there, and that's the fight very physically on the circuit. Stefan Faas and Clemens Hecker side by side, absolutely glued to each other as they exit turn 3, through the left at turn 4. This is the right at turn 5 now that tightens up into turn 6. Stefan tried to move down the inside of Louis Requenco yesterday and clipped the rear corner of the truck quite late on in the corner. Clemens Hecker wants to just sweep around the outside and hold that position. The amount of steam coming off these trucks is remarkable. It's steam and spray. Steam from the front brakes being cooled, they're water cooled, and obviously all the water making contact with the hot components, and it's an exposed engine. So you will see all the steam that would normally be kept under a race car bonnet, but not in this case in truck racing. It is very much out there exposed to the elements. And Clemens Hecker wants his first ever overall podium in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Stefan Faas wants to take that away. That looks like they're both going hot into the hairpin. No, they get it stopped. Brilliant stuff by the pair of them. This is lovely racing to see. The two of them in the past have been teammates before. Bradley Smith is Clemens Hecker's teammate this season in the Teams Championship as the Minna Maggie team. I believe it's the Clemens Hecker truck that's called Minna. Maggie, the name of Bradley Smith's number 11 machine. Stefan Faas, this teammate, this season doesn't have a teammate by the look of it. I don't think they've teamed up with anybody based on the initial entry list that we have. René Reinert and Steffi Halm right together on the circuit as well. 7th and 8th for them at the moment. Not the positions they would have wanted, but as you so often find out in motorsport, I'm sure, the results sheet does not tell the full story. At the moment, it's treacherous to try and make a move on one another, though. These conditions are not owing themselves to late moves on the brakes down the inside. You need to have supreme confidence in this weather to push as hard as you need to for an overtake. It's confidence that Stefan Faas clearly has, though. He is right up behind the Scania in front of him. He used to race a Scania himself and be teammates with Clemens Hecker, of course. René Reinert there in the MAN. We know that truck's set up well for wet conditions. Norbert Kish winning the championship in it last year. Right now, the Freightliner right up behind that Scania number 25 that'll be ingesting a lot of water being that close. You won't want that much water cooling the machine down. It'll run nicely, but at the end of the day, you don't want to be sat in effective slipstream because you are limited to 100 miles an hour, 160 kilometers an hour, and you cannot do more than that. One lap to go after this, and Clemens Hecker is holding on for now in front of Stefan Faas. But that Freightliner, it's always been a driver favourite because it's got a different balance to it. The engine, while being a bit further forward, is still quite far back underneath the cab. They're very interesting when you see them being worked on as well, those machines. The whole cab tips backwards and sort of opens up for the engine. But the Freightliner certainly looks the part, doesn't it, for a racing truck? Great looking machine, but it brings with it its own set of challenges as well. Stefan Faas has found that out himself so far this season. Clemens Hecker's putting the truck in the middle of the road in the right place at the right time. John Newell has made his way past Louis Requenco, by the way, as we see there. John overtaking him in the first sector. I think Louis just running a little bit wide down near turn 3. And John is now up in front. But it won't be a class podium. Bradley Smith currently holding on to 3rd place there. 6th place outright. But the rain continues to fall and the conditions continue to be a challenge by the look of it. We're on to the final lap of the race now, and Norbert Kish absolutely flying. Him and Jochen Hahn are only 5 seconds apart, but then they are 18 seconds clear of Clemens Hecker. Doing a fantastic job. Really wonderful pace by those guys. René Reinert right up behind Bradley Smith now, but can he do enough? Will Bradley make a mistake? There's only one more lap to find out. We'll have to see. You can only just see as well. It's so... I can't even think of the word. It's just blinding, the amount of spray down there. Looks nice and sunny actually from that shot where we just saw Norbert Kish, but it's definitely not the case. Norby is just doing what he does though, and soaking up, get it, these conditions, making the most of it. He's very good, whether it be dry or wet weather. And everybody, to be fair, doing a great job at keeping the things on the road. It's not easy, this, as Stefan Fast tries it round the outside of Clemens Hecker. Clemens tucks it back into the apex. This is the final lap for him to hold on for his first ever podium outright in the championship. Having a bit of a wobble there through turn 4. Stefan Fast closing in. Again, the combination of spray and steam off the back of these machines is just awesome. But I imagine that's making life quite difficult for Stefan, although you'd think so. But with the cabs being so high up in these machines, you're away from a lot of the spray, actually. You're not down on the floor like you would be in a GT car or a Formula car. So you don't have to worry about the spray too much. It still affects your visibility, but nowhere near on that level. Clemens defends the inside line, gets to the apex nice and early. Looks like he runs wide on the exit, but that's fine. That's how you can manage this corner. It's one of many corners around this circuit where you can take multiple lines. Antonio Albacete there, just waiting in the wings, trying to take whatever he can from this race. But somebody that is once again going to take everything from this race is, by the look of it, going to be Norbert Kish. Just one more corner to go for him. 2 technically, if you look at the track map, because this is turn 13 as, oh dearie me, there's a change. Stefan Fast under attack from Antonio Albacete. There's contact between the two. Hopefully they both stayed on the circuit. This guy definitely did. Norbert Kish, come rain or shine, takes the win in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. 3 out of 3 so far this weekend for Norby, and a great run for him and the team here at this wonderful circuit. And apparently Antonio has had a big old spin. As a result of that, he got moving and then it's gone around. And he's dragged mud and all sorts across the track after the contact with Stefan. I think Stefan just ran wide into him. And that is going to drop Antonio down. Tim will be furious. Yet more bad luck for the team. I'm not sure how much of that will be attributed to luck, but we'll have to wait and see. That does mean, though, that Clemens Hecker has taken 3rd position outright. He takes a 3rd place and his first ever podium in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and he wins in the Chrome class as well to go with it. And because this is effectively race 1 of the day, he will get some big old points for that. He will get 20 points in Chrome, 12 points in the overall championship as well. Amazing things to see. Antonio Albacete is going to make it across the line, I think. The incident is understandably under investigation. There is Antonio crossing the line in the background. You can see the bodywork hanging off the right-hand side there. It's a huge shame that that's how that battle ended up. I didn't see Christian Ruppert cross the line. I think he may be a little bit further down. Christian was a few seconds off the pace in that 2nd lap. I'll just confirm whether he does cross the line in the end. I have it on my timing screen. But Norbert Kish takes another victory. Jochen Hahn 2nd. Clemens Hecker 3rd. There is Christian Ruppert. He's just tiptoeing his way around now just to make sure that he gets there. But Clemens Hecker, that's the story of the race. That is, Clemens Hecker takes his first ever overall podium in the championship. His 2nd Chrome class win of the season as well. Stefan Fast in 2nd place. Bradley Smith in 3rd. John Newell will be 4th ahead of Louis Requenco, Mark Taylor, Luke Garrett, and then Christian Ruppert. And there's a 5-second penalty applied to Stefan Fast for what he had with Antonio Albacete there, that contact. That doesn't actually drop him down a place. That doesn't drop him down. He has a 5-second penalty. He was 32 seconds off Norbert Kish, 32.8, quite importantly. If you add that with 5 seconds, it's 37.8. And Bradley Smith behind him was 38.9 seconds off. So he doesn't get to gain a place as a result of that from Stefan Fast. So the penalty not really coming into any sort of force. But at the end of the day, they have set penalties for these things when they happen. It's not a case of ensuring that they remove a driver behind anybody else. But that puts Clemens Hecker right in the mix. He is 10th overall in the championship now on 24 points. Just 1 point behind Mark Taylor overall. And in the Chrome class, that puts him 3rd in the championship. 98 points. He's 8 points clear of John Newell. And he is only 19 points from Bradley Smith. In fact, Clemens Hecker is closer to Mark Taylor in the Chrome Championship than Mark is to Bradley Smith. Bradley Smith now has a 14-point lead in the Chrome Championship after taking a 1st, a 2nd and a 3rd this weekend in class. It's exactly the same results that he had at the Lausitz Ring as well, actually. He was 1st, then 2nd, then 3rd there as well. But this man, well, he's had first this time round. And Norbert Kisch continues on this incredible run of form in 2025 that's been going on for the last few years now. And it's been confirmed that the positions remain the same when it comes to Stefan Faas and Bradley Smith, 4th and 5th. Norby into the pit lane after one of the longest races we've ever had, actually, and that's not just in terms of the laps, but consider when we first started race 3 earlier on in the day. It's now finally finished, and it was a good couple of hours, that one. But you can hear all the fans with their air horns and all sorts supporting Norbert Kisch. But Clemens Hecker's team will be over the moon with that result. You can hear just how happy the guys are. And there is Norbert Kisch. And fantastic, well done for them. Clemens Hecker will be over the moon with that. Jochen Hahn 2nd place as well. Let's go down to Lena, shall we, and see what is going on.
What a race for Clemens Hecker. Congratulations. And he's not even sweaty wet. I think he could have done like 10 more laps. How many more laps could you have done in this race? I think you really liked the rain and everything, the circumstances.
It was perfect. It was so slippery, but perfect.
Yeah, I mean, you had a very tight fight, obviously, but you were not giving up on it. And everyone was in front of the television like, no, but you managed well.
Yeah, you need to keep your focus on this road. It's so slippery to find the right spot to brake or where you have the traction on the front axles.
Congratulations. Really nice. I mean, there's one more race to come today and your team is waiting, so let's walk over there because I think they really want to congratulate you. Jochen Hahn already came over to him, gave him his respect. I mean, everyone who has not even been close to racing, this was really like doing magic on track. Not to speak about Norbert Kisch and Jochen Hahn, of course, who have done super good. Did you see what they were doing in your back? I think you were so far off. Clemens really did a really good job defending himself in the pool of people, and of course you did your magic and you were flying away.
Good race. Difficult conditions, especially the first attempt when we had the red flag. It was like really big aquaplaning. I couldn't even push full throttle in the start-finish straight here because it was moving everywhere. So yeah, I think the red flag there was an absolute necessary step to make. And now in the second start, conditions were much better, still wet, but much better. So I was able to drive very well. And I think it's nice. I am happy that the new track is very good in the rain condition as well, just as well as we had it in last year with the old track. So again, good job from the Davis Racing team. I'm very thankful for them. So yeah, happy.
Can you tell everyone who's a fan of sim racing as well how your team is doing right now? Because we're not able to keep up on it, are you?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure. I think we gave up in the morning because I see that maybe we had some other setbacks. But yeah, also I had my fair share of crashes, in the race. So yeah, maybe next year.
Okay, I think we keep the magic over here for now and then we go back.
Try to schedule, please, the Slovakia ring that it doesn't collide with the iRacing Nürburgring 24 hour, please.
Okay, so you go get your trophy again. Jochen also already gone, everyone running over there. See you for the next race and I'm handing back over to Chaz.
Thanks very much, Alina. And yeah, I share the sentiment with Norby, with it sharing a weekend with an iRacing special event. But at the end of the day, we come here racing in the real world, and that is how it is. Norbert Kish takes the race victory then, 8.5 seconds clear of Jochen Hahn. And then Heinrich Clemens-Hecker in third place. He will be over the moon with that, absolutely over the moon. Stefan Faas in fourth position, a great result for him as well, despite the 5-second penalty. And then Bradley Smith behind as well. Then it's René Reiner in sixth place, Steffi Halm seventh, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in eighth. Following that, Louis Requenco and John Newell completing the top 10 on this occasion. And then Mark Taylor and Luke Garrett with Antonio Albacete next up in 13th, Christian Ruppert in 14th place. And no Sasha Lenz, of course. Now, that is the combined result from earlier. So some of the times and the gaps and things will look slightly different. So we'll have to wait and see the final result of the documents and so on for that. So it may look a little bit different. But let's have a look at some highlights, shall we? It's been a long old race, this. We started knowing that there was going to be a bit of wet weather on the horizon, but just nobody really knew how heavy the rain was going to be. And as they all sat on the grid, it got heavier and heavier. And the left-hand side of the grid certainly showed us just how wet it was going to get. We got underway with Norbert Kiss, Jochen Hahn and Sasha Lenz, the top three, under full course yellow conditions, and then the field was allowed to go green flag racing after the first lap and get pushing and pushing to try and set the fastest times they could and obviously keep it on the black stuff. Unfortunately, Sasha Lenz was not able to do that. It brought out a red flag and the trucks were brought back around onto the start-finish straight. A little bit of reorganising was done while the fans watched, but at that point we had to cut things off and get all the trucks back into Parc Fermé, and unfortunately it was quite the while before we got going again. Still, what a race we had when we did get going. It was shortened to the 5 laps that we had remaining from the first attempt, and it was Norbert Kish leading us away from Jochen Hahn, while Clemens Hecker and Stefan Faas had a great fight, not only for an overall podium place, but the chrome lead as well. René Reiner was holding on ahead of Steffi Halm with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in hot pursuit as well. John Newell made his way past Louis Requenco as Stefan Faas and Clemens Hecker continued their fight towards the end. It was great battling between the two, one of them being an ex-Scania driver, but unfortunately contact with Antonio Albacete would give Stefan Faas a 5-second penalty. That would not demote him a position in the final result, but at the front, Norbert Kish made sure it was another race victory for him and the wonderful Reveche Racing team ahead of Jochen Hahn, and Clemens Hecker in third, receiving a great reception from everybody down there in the pit lane for his fantastic performance. And as we're about to see, it's Clemens Hecker's first podium in the championship overall, and he will be delighted, I'm sure, to share the podium with Jochen Hahn and Norbert Kish. As you'll have seen, some of the results might be slightly different. John Newell finishing ahead of Louis Requenco will potentially be turned the other way around, actually, I believe, because we had John on our graphic in 10th place and Louis ahead of him. I think that's because of reversing the gaps from earlier on. Clemens Hecker, though, for the first time, heads up onto the podium. Overall, Jochen Hahn will join him. A massive handshake from Jochen to Clemens. And a big cheer as Norbert Kish heads up onto the podium. As he said himself, today a bit more successful than his iRacing ventures last night in the Nürburgring 24-hour. And a huge amount of his fans turn out here every time we come to the Slovakia ring to show their appreciation. We have 3 different wonderful people providing the trophies this time round. Zuzan Kakanova was just given the trophy to Clemens Hecker just there. That's the Public Relations Manager for Eurovag. Matthias Marja is the VP for Decarbonisation at Eurovag. Gave a great interview on the grid earlier today, did Matthias. And now the Country Manager for Hungary, Eurovag, Laszlo Kalman, will give the trophy to Norbert Kish, and I'm sure he will be over the moon to do so. Maybe a congratulation in Hungarian as well from him. And Norbert Kish with another trophy to add to the ever-expanding trophy shelves that he has, and the Hungarian national anthem for our winning driver. And there we go. Norbert Kish gets another reaction out of the fans waving the trophy. He'll be over the moon. Another race victory and another moment on the top step for these guys as they pose for pictures. Clearly some shenanigans going on, as always. But what do you expect when Jochen's around? He's such a good laugh. The guy's shouting champagne already. Loads of Hungarian flags and fans, as you see. Look at them piling in to get a look at their driver. A great reception. Absolutely great reception. Now, they're already all absolutely soaked. I doubt we'll see much champagne spraying from one driver to the next. You can see everybody ducking out of the way at the back of the... Well, we're going to call it the media pen there. As Jochen now soaks the guy in the front row that wanted soaking. Norby joins in as well, and then soaks the rest of the fans too. Brilliant stuff. Great camaraderie, and that's what it's all about. A very well done from those guys to Clemens Hecker for his first ever overall podium in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And that champagne will taste extra sweet, I am sure. Let's have a look at the championship standings, which, according to the director, are extra sweet as well. 155 points to Norbert Kish, 116 to Jochen Hahn. Steffi Halm next up in 3rd place with René Reinert in behind. Then it's Sasha Lenz in 5th place. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Antonio Albacete on just 43 points, hoping for more this season. And then we have Bradley Smith, Mark Taylor and Clemens Hecker all very close together there. 28, 25 and 24 points apiece for those guys. Stefan Faas in 11th place. Big points from him for that race. John Newell and Jonathan Andre with Louis Requenco and Luke Garrett completing the field. It does look like there are some positions to be changed in that result just there as we get the chrome podium completed. Bradley Smith already up there. Stefan Faas 2nd place and Clemens Hecker taking the victory in class. A double celebration for him, basically. And he will receive the same trophies from the same 3 podium presenters. Zuzan Kakanova for the Public Relations Manager of Eurovag. Matthias Marja, the VP of Decarbonisation at Eurovag as well for Stefan Faas. And then Laszlo Kalman, the Country Manager for Hungary of Eurovag, will make his way out as well and present Clemens Hecker with his prize. And now we'll get the national anthem of Germany for our class winner. And as I said yesterday, that's the radio edit. That's the very short version. And the top 3 in class pose on the top step of the podium for their pictures. And they will be spraying the champagne in just a moment. Second time for Clemens. Bradley Smith as well. All important championship points for him. Means that he is further ahead in the championship standings. Clemens Hecker, I think, trying to soak the team down there in the pit lane. Everybody's already drenched anyway. Big smile on the face of Clemens Hecker. He'll be over the moon. Absolutely over the moon. It's lovely to see it. Very, very heartwarming results here today. And I'm sure everybody very thankful that we got that race out of the way and done in the end after such a delay. Bradley Smith leads the Chrome Championship then with just one race left to go this weekend. Mark Taylor in second position. But as I said, Clemens Hecker close behind. He's right in striking distance now. John Newell next up with Louis Requenco just behind. Stefan Faas is sixth in the championship after a second, first and a second, with Luke Garrett and Jonathan Andre ahead of Christian Ruppert. And Stefan Kirsch on 19 points completes the runners that we've had. I'm going to say goodbye for now, though, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience and sticking with us here for the third race of the day. I'm going to hand back down to Lena and hopefully catch you again very soon at 5:30 local time. Oh, apologies. I'm just saying goodbye now. Lena's gone to go and get ready for the next one. So don't forget, join us at 5:30 local time while we all dry off. We will be back very, very soon. Thanks again. See you soon.